Salvete discipili, or hello, too many students. This is Latin for Children A, chapter 11. Now, before we begin the chapter, I want to explain what's going to happen in this unit. This unit is very short. And on top of that, we have, it's only 2 lessons long, the unit. And then on chapter 13 would be your unit 3. Now, before everyone thinks, oh, another unit test, no, that week I would be handing out worksheets for vocabulary, and we would be doing drills, vocab drills that whole week as well, meaning that we would not have a unit exam on top of another one. The whole point of doing a unit exam after 2 lessons is to review all 100 words we have learned this year so that we can move on with more advanced topics. Now, chapter 11, vocabulary is creo, creare, creavi, creatum. That is, I create, to create, I created, created. That is exploror, explorare, exploravi, exploratum. I explore, to explore, I explored, explored. Now we have cogito, cogitare, cogitavi, cogitatum. To think, to think, I thought, thought. Muto, mutare, mutavi, mutatum. I change, to change, I changed, change. We have dubito, dubitare, dubitavi, dubitatum. I doubt, to doubt, I doubted, doubted. Then we have our adjectives. We have magnus aum, large, great. Parvus aum, small. Verus aum, true. Falsus aum, false. Dubius aum, doubtful. These are very common adjectives, and it's good that they're learning them this year because you'll see them in many Latin texts. Okay. Our review vocabulary is specto, spectare, spectavi, spectatum. I look at, to look at, I looked at, looked. Seen, seen would be that last one. Sum esse fui futorum, I am, to be, I was, about to be. We have ancilla, maidservant, and gloria, glory. Now, our grammar lessons, it's about adjectives. This is a very general view of adjectives. The adjective endings match all of the noun declensions we have learned so far. So first declension, a, arum, is, as, is. Second declension, masculine, us, o, orum, is, as, is. And then second declension, neuter, i, o, yes, arum, is, is. So all of these adjective endings match the declension endings. This is because the adjectives have to match the nouns they're describing. So if you have a noun like gladius, you have to have the adjective match that us ending, us ending. So if you want to say a large sword, you would have to say magnus gladius. But if you want to just say a large woman, not that you should say a large woman, it would be magna femina. Femina is woman there. If you want to just say a large town, oppidum with a ending would be neuter, oppidum, but magnum with the would have to match oppidum, magnum, oppidum. So adjectives have to match the endings of the noun they describe. This makes it easier to recognize it in a sentence, and also it makes it easier to translate into Latin. What is this adjective describing? Who is this adjective describing? Match the ending to there. Now, there are exceptions to this, meaning, and we'll have to get into this as well, meaning the word agricola. Agricola means farmer. but it has that A ending, which is first declension. However, it is a masculine noun because farmer was usually a man's profession in ancient Rome. So the adjective has to match the gender, which means that you would say Magnus, that second declension masculine noun. Magnus, second declension masculine noun endings. Agricola, farmer. That is the only exception when the gender does not match the ending. And there's a few exceptions in every single declension, but generally you can use the same endings with the nouns, and we will go over that. Usually I say, hey, farmers are masculine because they're usually out in the field and they're working hard. In our modern life, there are women farmers, but generally it's actually men who are the farmers as well. Women are included in there, but men are still primarily farmers in the agricultural fields, and it's still carrying on today. Agricola, however, has those first declension noun endings because the ancient Roman world associated anything to do with the ground as feminine, meaning that they thought that ground was a living thing. So a lot of those words with ground, like farmer and also terra, land, earth, they have those first declension endings. However, since Agricola or farmer was a masculine profession, it has that masculine gender. So it has to match with the case. So nominative has to match with nominative case. So if it's a nominative noun or a subject noun, it has to match with the adjective has to match in the nominative ending. Or if it's a genitive, which we really haven't learned, but that's the one directly before nominative. So the AE, that would have to match. They would have to match completely in case, number, singular or plural, or gender. The three adjective questions are what kind, which one, and how many. What kind, which one, and how many. Adjectives must agree with the nouns they modify in gender. That's the most important thing. Number and case, as I went over before. And also, here we have, and that's basically the lesson. Except for I didn't go over cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. I love this Latin phrase. I think, therefore I am. It's actually one of the phrases stuck on my wall, my Latin room. And I asked the students what they think that means. In this modern age, we like to not think. We like to go off and play on our computers and just kind of what we call veg out. So what does it mean by I think, therefore I am? We love to talk about logic and reasoning in this school, so I connected to that and education and really thinking and being an active part in your life. That is the lesson for this week. I answered the grammar questions on the bottom of page 81. And remember that we have 11 and 12 in this unit, and lesson 13 would be a review. Once again, we are not going to have a unit 3 test. We are just going to review. That's about it. Thank you.